Lila looked angrily at the man kneeling in front of her. "How many times have I told you not to act without permission? Why don't you listen to me?" The man was dressed in black, and although he was kneeling, he showed no signs of shame or remorse. He wore an obstinate look on his face. "Only the dead could keep secrets," he said. "You already achieved your goal by giving it to Cedric. Killing Luther was a waste of your time and effort," she responded. "But he saw my face," the man protested. "If I hadn't killed him, he would have exposed me. Are you sad that he's dead?" After a long pause, she said, "Samson, you're already much stronger than him." She was trying to console him, but her words only made him angry. He stood up from the ground. "No need to say anymore. If you feel sorry for him, you can go and tell him," he shouted and stormed off. Lila helplessly shook her head. She knelt in front of Aiden's tombstone. "Wait for me, my brother. Once I've settled things in Rhode Island, I'll join you soon." When Princess Victoria returned, she found Andrew sitting at the door to Charles' room, with Peter and the Daniel sisters standing in front of him. They seemed to be arguing. Andrew heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Victoria. Isabella immediately started shouting at her. "Witch, what are you playing at? It's an easy poison to cure. Why are you delaying treating him? You're the Princess of Little Venice. Are you spying for them? Do you want to harm Charles?" Victoria had no interest in arguing with the sisters at this time. She was only concerned with Charles and couldn't care less what they thought of her. "Can we take him back to the mansion?" she asked Nathan. Nathan nodded. Charles had been poisoned, but he didn't have any external injuries, so if they moved him carefully, it shouldn't worsen his condition. "He should regain consciousness tomorrow morning," he said. "Just try not to move him too much." Victoria thanked him and then instructed Kurt to help move Charles. Isabella was about to begin protesting again, but Andrew shut her up. "That's enough," he said. It was rare for Andrew to speak so sternly, and it shocked Isabella. "Go back to the War King's mansion. We'll visit him tomorrow," he said to Victoria. Victoria nodded and left with Kurt and Charles. When Victoria, Charles, and Kurt had gotten into the carriage, Andrew went to Nathan and asked if there was anything else he should know about the poisoning. "What makes you think there's something else?" Nathan asked. "Victoria takes your advice very seriously. She's not in a hurry to cure the poison. There must be a reason." "You're smart," Nathan responded. "But the others don't seem to think the same way." Peter was getting impatient. "Tell us what's going on," he said. Nathan smirked at them. No one knew what he was planning. "You won't be able to find the culprit," he said. It seemed as though Nathan already had his suspicions as to who the murderer was. "What did you find out?" Andrew was also losing his patience. "It's the same person who tried to kill Victoria in the Eastern hunting grounds," he said. "What?" they all exclaimed at once. "Impossible," Daphne said. Nathan turned and looked at her. His sharp eyes pierced through her facade. Her heart skipped a beat. She realized she'd been too emphatic. She tried to regain her composure quickly. "The people at the Eastern hunting grounds were after Victoria," she said hurriedly. "But this poison was definitely meant for Charles. They don't have the same motive. There must be two murderers." There was some truth to what Daphne had said, and everyone, except Nathan, nodded in agreement. "Not necessarily," said Nathan. "Andrew once divined that Victoria was Charles' protector. If he wanted to remove the blood curse, he would need her to help him. If she was killed, his chances of survival wouldn't be good. The two attempted murders might have the same motive, to get rid of Charles." Daphne began to worry. If Charles' guards started investigating, she'd probably be found out quickly. She lowered her head and said nothing. Isabella looked admiringly at Nathan. "You're so clever. Andrew, Peter, we must do our best to track down the murderer. Nathan, will you help us?" She blushed and lowered her gaze when Nathan looked at her. "I'll help you," he said. Isabella was elated because he said, "I'll help you," not, "I'll help you guys." It wasn't a big difference, but it was enough to make her short of breath. She'd grown up on the mountain and hadn't been exposed to many people as a child. She didn't have much experience reading people, but she had a good feeling about Nathan.